We're very, very lucky to have some superstars joining us this morning. We've got lovely Natasha, who's going to be speaking to us. We've got lovely Ruby, and we have Elizabeth, and we also have Zara.
Hi.
So thank you for joining us. Before we start, I'd just like to say that what we're going to talk about may be upsetting for some people. So I have got some phone numbers here if you ever need to drop out for a little while and maybe take a moment or need someone to talk to. Please call one of these numbers that are up here on the whiteboard. These are numbers just for in Australia. If you're watching from overseas, thank you for joining us. I know the time doesn't always match up very well. If you're a local person, you're in Ellenbrook or Midland or in the city of Swan somewhere, this is the closest people. If you wanted to call someone that they could actually help you on a one-to-one basis, this is the best number to call. Midland Women's Health Care Place. Okay? All right. Thank you. I'd like to now introduce Natasha.
Well, thank you everyone that's joining in to watch this. It means a lot, and I hope it's beneficial to you and helps you in as many ways as it can. I want to start off by sharing a picture of my story, of what I went through, and then very importantly adding on how I actually got out, because I feel like whenever people speak about their own stories of surviving domestic violence, they don't actually address how they got out. So if you're someone that's in a situation, yeah, your story can be inspiring, can be uplifting, but then they're still feeling stuck in their own little bubble because they don't know how you got out, so they in turn don't know how to get out themselves successfully. This was my first relationship. I was 14 years old. And I suffered domestic violence in various forms. It was physical, verbal, mental, sexual, financial, and it started off obviously at a slow progress, and then it built up to a daily occurrence, to an hourly occurrence as well. I was in grade 10, met someone, and obviously it started as, this whole high school love relationship. Everything seemed perfect. He seemed really sweet, perfect gentleman, etc., etc. At that point in time, obviously I started opening up to him, and he discovered that I didn't have as close a relationship with my parents as I would have liked, and so I've always felt like at that time I wanted that sense of feeling a belonging to a family, and he took that and manipulated it into his own terms and basically became like a boyfriend, best friend, brother, father kind of figure. So he gave me what I was looking for, and I didn't see at that time as, it was a manipulative thing, but he gave me what I was looking for, so that made me obviously fall more for him, trust him more, want to be around him more, and basically not depend on him. I've always been an independent person, but basically just always trust that what he was doing was at my best interest in whatever aspect it was. So within the first year, I experienced the first sign of domestic violence. We were in the city and we were just shopping on a weekend, and there was a group of guys that were looking at me, and I knew these group of guys because they caught my school bus, and he also knew who they were. He didn't like that they were paying me attention. I wasn't entertaining it in whatever aspect, but there was one particular guy in that group that was looking at me, talking about me with his friends, and so I looked at him thinking like, what are you trying to say? I don't know you, you don't know me. Anyways, he saw me looking, he said, like, why the F you looking at him, blah, 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 do you want him? And I'm like, no, like, I don't even know him, like, I want to address why he's giving me attention. So next thing you know, he kicks me in my shins, and it was really hard. Like, he had on, like, Timberland boots, so it was really hard. I had this big welt on my leg. So obviously not wanting to cause any trouble for him or, get him in trouble, I tried to play it off. I mean, I was crying, but I was trying to hide it. And then I basically was like, I'm done with you. I walked off, and then he followed me, put me into a corner, and like basically slapped me, punched me in like a kind of like an alleyway, like somewhere that wasn't easily seen by the public eye. Obviously then, end the story of that story, I basically forgave him, promised to never do it again, as they all do, and I believed him. Next incident from there was like my year 12 school ball. We were standing in a taxi line waiting for a cab, and a fight broke out in front of us, and he was like, you're so stupid, like, why did you come here, like, you wanted to go see your friends, I came with you, then there's a fight, like, and I'm like, that fight has nothing to do with us. He basically was standing this side of me and punched me in my jaw on my side, like, boom, like, it was really hard. So I was shocked. I had no idea he did that. I didn't think he was going to do that. So here I am, like, in so much pain, my face so red, trying to play it off again to not let him get in trouble. I'm worrying about him and not myself. So there was guys behind us, and they were like, obviously kind of drunk. They're like, we saw what you did to her. I'm like, no, he didn't do anything. Like, I'm fine. And obviously I'm crying. My face is red. And I'm trying to protect him. He's like, no, I didn't do anything. They're like, no, we saw you punch her in the face. And then what did he do? He just ran off, left me there at like 1 a.m. in the morning in like a line of like guys and stuff. Like, I'm, you know, like 16 years old, and he just took off. I'm vulnerable. I'm in pain, so much pain. And he just left me there. And then I had to basically call a cab home. I couldn't call my parents. Obviously, it was not a subject I wanted to address. So from there, it started getting worse, and he started controlling me. It got to the point that it was like, it was before my 18th birthday. He's like, I don't want you going clubbing. You don't need to go clubbing. You've got me. Why you want to go clubbing? Like, you know, have other guys like dance with you, touching you. I'm like, all right, cool. So I agreed with that. I was like, all right, fair enough. Like, I've been underage clubbing. I know what it's like. So that's cool. I'll let you have that. Then it was like, I don't want you going to any parties. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Then it was like, I don't want you seeing your friends and family, or I don't like these certain friends. So I respected that. I was like, all right, I'll kind of distance myself from them. And next thing you knew, it was just him and I. No family, no friends, no work colleagues. He didn't like anyone. I couldn't go to family gatherings. I couldn't even go to my grandfather's funeral. When my grandfather passed away, I had to beg him to go to my grandfather's funeral. And this is my dad's father. So if my uncle's watching this, you know why I didn't come to the funeral. So I had to beg him, I really want to go to the funeral. And he's like, yeah, we'll go. And I thought, no, you're plotting something. Next minute, I was waiting to pick me up. He was like, my car broke down. I'm on the freeway. I can't come. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to catch a cab. And he was like, no, I'm going to come there. My friend's bringing me a car. I'll come pick you up. We'll go. I'm like, all right, cool. Waiting. Next thing you know, I missed the funeral. He didn't really care at all. There was no remorse. And I couldn't explain that to my family because at that time they didn't know what I was going through. So my dad, may his soul rest in peace, probably just thought that I just didn't care. And that's not me. That's not me at all. So from there, like I said, it got to the point that I had to change jobs because I worked too far away, which was a 20-minute drive. It's like, I want you closer to the house. So I got another job. It was 5 minutes drive. 5 minutes there, 5 minutes back. Obviously, with traffic in the morning, it would take a bit longer. He would time me of how long I took to get to work.
Oh my God.
He would be like, you start at 8:30, so you can leave at 8:20. I'm like, there's traffic. It's morning. No, you can leave at 8:20. You'll get. I had to like speed to work to make sure I got there on time because he won't let me leave early. From work leaving, obviously there's peak hour traffic. If I was 5 or 10 minutes late home from work, who were you with? Who were you sleeping with? Who were you cheating on me with? If I'm cheating, I would need more than 5 minutes, okay? Like, I would need more than 5 minutes, just say. Like, and I'm not totally sexual. I mean, like, in any aspect, like, to spend time with someone, like, I would need more than 5 minutes. It would take me, like, 5 minutes to take my clothes off. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna say like that. So I'm like, sorry if it was my family watching this, or Carl, anyone. Anyways, so my point is that, like, what can I do at a 5-minute point of time? Like, so I'm like, there was traffic. No, there wasn't. And I would get beaten based on being home late 5 or 10 minutes. If I wanted to go to the doctor's surgery, why you need to go? I'm in pain, or this situation's happening. No, you can't go to the doctor's. Or I need to withdraw money. No, you can't go to the bank. I'll come with you. Everywhere I went had to be under his control. And at first I was like, oh, okay, you know, and then after I'm like, no, this is actually an issue. This is the problem. He changed my whole mindset. I'm someone that, you know, people that follow me on social media say I'm very outspoken, I'm out there. I don't, you know, I don't care what anyone thinks about me, kind of thing, in a respectful way. Like, I'll say it how it is. I became someone that was so quiet, so out of character, someone that was so vulnerable. I had no self-esteem. He made me feel like I was worthless. Like, he made me feel that, like, this is as good as my life's gonna get. Take it or leave it. Like, I can't do better than him. That's how he made me feel, that I just was, he's like, you know, I can get all the other girls better than you. Like, you know, you're beautiful, but I can get way better girls than you. Like, this, that. I'm like, all right, go ahead. He's like, no, I want you, and I want you to stay right here. So, honestly, yeah, that just got worse. It got worse. It was, as I said, like, I was raped many times, and I want to address quickly right now that even though I was in a relationship, rape is never okay. Doesn't matter if he was my husband, my boyfriend of 10 years. It doesn't matter if I had children with a guy. Rape is never okay. So I remember speaking to some people back then saying, you know, I've been raped. I'm traumatized by it. You know, I was raped when I was young, and it happened numerous times. And I remember, like, telling him, like, get off me. I was like, and like, you know, like I was smaller than what I am now, and he was on me heavy, and I'll be like, get off me, like I can't breathe. Like he would put things in my mouth so that I couldn't scream. He would tie my hands up, like it was horrible, you know. And to hear people say to me, like, at times, like, oh, but that was your boyfriend of, like, you know, 7 years, 8 years. That doesn't matter. Like, rape is never okay. It's never condoned. No is no. Again, with the physical abuse, I remember sometimes, till now, people will speak to me and be like, oh, but, like, you know, domestic violence, like, he hits you sometimes, like, it's okay. That was your part. No. Someone constantly verbally abusing you, someone constantly physically harming you, sticking objects inside of you, beating you, that's what I endured. That's not okay on any aspect, whether it's a one-time occurrence, whether it's a weekly, fortnightly occurrence, like, it's never okay. You know, and you shouldn't be controlled. Like, you don't belong to anyone. Yeah, okay, in a relationship, like, you know, it'll be like, you're mine, I'm yours, in the sense that, like, we're monogamous, we're not dating other people, but you don't belong to someone. You're not someone's property. They don't own you, they don't control you, they can't, you know, obviously be out of line, you're doing something that's reckless. I get if someone's trying to, like, be like, you know, advise you a different route, but you don't control someone, dictate to where they can and cannot go, who they can and cannot see, you know, what they can and cannot wear, how they do their hair, like, all these little small things were dictated to me. If I wanted to get my hair done, it's like, no, you can't do that. You get more attention, or you can't dress like that. Like, and back then I didn't think it was an issue, like I said, because I was so manipulated that I was like, oh, okay, like, he's just my best interest at heart. No. So like I said, this continued on until I was 21. By the age of 19 was really when I was like, I'm done. Like, we had a house together, and we were engaged that time, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I really don't deserve this. Like, it just was a realization that I kind of woke up. And I thought, how am I going to get out? Like, we have a home loan together. I can't just leave the house. I'm bound. I tried to work out ways to find the money to be able to pay him off so I can get him out of the home loan. I tried so many different ways. And it came to the point that I was like, the only way to get out is to play his games, to play his mind games, to manipulate him. Everything he does to me, lie to me, manipulate me, do that to him. And I'm someone that can't lie. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a bad liar. Like, I'll be like looking over here, like, I'm really bad. So I had to kind of get into that role that was dangerous to me, but temporarily do that in order to get out. So I basically opened another account, and every time I got paid each week, I would withdraw all that cash, deposit into the other account, leave maybe like $50 or $100 in my main account, and I did that for a few months. And then I basically told him that, listen, I can't afford the home loan anymore. We need to sell the house. Let's sell the house, and we'll still be together. We'll rent a house together. It's less financial stress. He was like, I'll pay the home loan. And I was like, no, like, I don't need that. I'm independent. I feel bad. Like, this is sell the house, and we can get another place together. Eventually he agreed. I don't know how I convinced him, because he was smart, but he agreed. But I was like, okay, cool, sense of relief. But it wasn't a complete sense of relief, because it took us over a year to actually sell that house. So that year, I had to put up with the rape. I had to put up with the physical abuse. I had to endure everything. I hated this man. I was at a point that I hated him. I resented him so much and the person he was. Like, he would rape me and be on top of me, I'd be crying, bawling my eyes out, crying, and he wouldn't care. He'd beat me and I'd be crying. I'd be, like, yelling, stop, please, and he wouldn't care. I couldn't get a restraining order against him because he threatened me and my family. He said, I will kill you, and I will kill your parents. Whether he would have done that or not, honestly, right now, I can't tell you what he was capable of. You know, there was times he put me in hospital, and there was a lot of near-death experiences that I had, and I literally knew that if I didn't get out, I would have died. I don't think I would be here today, honestly. You know, he, like I said, he put objects inside of me, harmed me in ways that were life-threatening. I also became very suicidal, and that's someone that's never been me at all. I'm a very strong person, and I've thought about taking my life. I tried at times, and to think now, like, I let someone do that to me, I just think, like, it's crazy. It seems crazy, but that's the reality of what women go through in domestic violence situations. So basically, once the house sold, I had to actually pay a deposit for a rental property. I knew I wasn't going to stay there, but I had to pay that deposit to make him think we're going to move in together. And then he went to work one Saturday, and I got two of my closest friends to come help me. he left at 7 a.m. for work. 8 o'clock, we were there. We took everything. I left him a lot of the stuff, which I shouldn't have. It was mine anyway, but I'm not like that. I took everything that I needed and I moved. And then I remember the last trip we made to the house to remove the stuff, he came, he called us, but then he drove off. So me thinking then, okay, I've moved, I've got a new life, I can breathe, I can be free, didn't actually happen for another 2 more years from that time. We were actually like completely done, tied off, but he continuously stalked me. He came to my job. I had to change jobs numerous times. I had to change my number about 8 times in 1 year. He was good at manipulating people to be like, oh, you know, like Natasha gave me your number, but I misplaced it, or something like that, and he'll get my number. Or I would leave the airport where I was working, and he would be there after a 12-hour shift. And obviously, 12 hours, you're tired, not thinking. He would be there, and he followed me. I had to change houses. In 1 year, changed houses 5 times because he learned reality of a stalker, and it was like, I'm out of this relationship, I'm not bound to you, but you still have that control of my life. Like, and it was hard, and again, I couldn't put a restraining order. There's countless police reports about him that I made, that my sister made, others have made, but I could never put a restraining order against him because I constantly feared that he would kill my parents or kill me. And yeah, I obviously look back now and wish I could have done other things. I wish I could have left earlier, but it's just a situation that I had to go through that, as I don't regret it at all. I have no regrets. To be honest, I feel that I am the person I am because of that situation. You know, so I know now what I do and don't want in a relationship. I know now my sense of strength and resilience and everything else like that. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like you're out and you're out. It took another 2 more years, and only even when I was in my second relationship years later, he was still stalking me.
Wow.
I moved countries, and he still stalked me. That's how crazy it was. And only when my ex and I, you know, were fully committed together, then he was like, all right, I'm back off. Like, I had told him, like, I don't want to be with you. But he said to me, if I can't have you, no one else will. If I can have you and you choose to be with someone else, I will kill you. I will never let you with anyone else. He's like, you're mine, you belong to me. He's like, I took your virginity, you belong to me. And he told my ex that as well. And my ex was like, you sound like a psychopath. And I'm like, see what I dealt with?
Yeah.
Like, he thought because I was with him and took my virginity and I was young, he's like, I'm like, you're mine. He was so possessive. Like, he wouldn't like anyone to look at me. He wouldn't like me to dress nice because he like didn't like, you know, me getting attention. And I never gave him any reason at all in that whole period that I was interested in other people, that I would cheat. Like, he trusted me, but he didn't trust other people and just didn't want me to be seen. So yeah, that's basically what I went through. And like I said, it's a difficult situation that a lot of women have to go through. I feel now I'm in a better place. I feel healed from it. Like, I don't mind speaking freely about it. Yeah, there's still a few triggers, and I think about certain situations or certain objects that I see. If someone's holding certain objects in their hands, it reminds me of him having instead of them inside me, and that will be a trigger. Or if I'm in small spaces, sometimes it makes me feel about him putting me in a corner and just punch. Like, he will have me in a corner and like just beat me until I was on the ground. And even then, I'll be like ducking like this, and he would still be going at it. It just never stops, and it was really hard, like, you know, to speak out about it, because I left that officially like out of the house by like early 2012, and I didn't actually heal it until 2017.
Okay.
2017 was when I actually first opened up about my story, and it was the same time that my own family and my friends and everyone else heard for the first time what I'd gone through. Did my family know? Yes, I believe they did. There was many times that my father, I would call my father on a monthly basis being like, you know, so-and-so smashed the window again. And it's like, yeah, okay, I could have spoken out and talked to my parents, but if you're getting a call from your daughter 3 times in 1 month that a smashed window to repair it, 3 times after it's being fixed, like, that's a sign right there. And it was a big window, and this is the window that he was pushing me through. That's how it broke. He was pushing me through the window, and my whole body went through the window. So if there's the same room and that window's been replaced 3 times, already that's like, okay, like, what's going on? Why is an adult, a grown adult, breaking that window? Or my mom, there was instances where she, you know, saw different things, and I feel like, you know, she should have done something or reached out more. I feel like as a parent, you know, I'm not a parent, but I feel like there's signs. If your daughter is cutting you off, if you don't see your daughter for a long period of time, if there's incidents involving blood and glass and this, that, you have to know something's going on. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
Do I resent my parents? No. Do I wish they did more? Yes. But it is what it is, and this is what I had to go through. And that's why now since opening up, I basically made it my mission to help as many women as I can. Yeah, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a counselor, but I have a full-time job and I'm very busy outside of work with other different side projects, but I still am someone that is there, reachable, in contact whenever someone needs me, anywhere in the world to talk to. You know, sometimes you just need someone to talk to, and that's how it starts the process in getting out. You can't just be like, I want to get out, take me out. I can't retract from that situation. But it's just a matter of, you know, knowing someone's there. Because when I went through my situation, I was young. I was 14 to 21. I mean, I was still a baby. I was like a young adult. I've had a very sheltered life because of that factor. And so I felt like I never had anyone to speak to. I felt so alone, and that's where the suicidal thoughts came in. And I felt like I can't talk to anyone. And the times that I did speak to someone, it was like, oh, just get out. Just get out. You can't just get out.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what and then people like that, when they hear that, an abused person be like, you know what? I'm done talking. You need to make sure you speak to the right people. You need to speak to, you know, a family member, or a friend, or a co-worker, or someone in the community. Just someone you can trust. And I feel like once you start opening up, that's the start right there to initiate the process of getting out. When you feel alone, that's when you start to listen to what your abuser is telling you. Like, yeah, maybe I am worthless. Yeah, maybe I am, you know, this is as good as my life's going to get. Maybe there is no greener grass on the other side. Maybe this is how my life's supposed to be. And that's not true. No one deserves to be abused. No one deserves to be put in that situation. And if my story, along with everyone else that speaks out, can just help embed that in your brain and help change your mindset back to how it would have been before you met your abuser, that's the start process right there.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
You've covered so many of areas and issues to do with domestic violence, and even the Women in Sister Project have been asking, you know, questions that we would like you to discuss, and you've covered so many of them already. So thank you for that. Is there any more questions that you think maybe Natasha hasn't?
I'll touch base quickly on back to what I was saying about the cultural, religious differences. This is going to be a very controversial subject, but I'm going to say how it is. Take it or leave it. So yeah, I was born in Australia, but my background obviously is Anglo-Indian, so I have ethnic background. So I won't name the people, but there has been family members that have told me in either my two relationships. So my second relationship, my ex cheated multiple times. So I was told by a family member, who I won't address, basically told me like, but that's your partner, you need to stay with him. And I'm like, why? Because, and he was like, she was like, because you're married to that person, you need to stay with them. I'm like, obviously, yes, I know the principle of marriage and the importance of it and that bond, but if someone is cheating on you, that doesn't mean you have to stay just because you're married to that person. They also took a vow.
That's right.
And if they're not taking it seriously,
that's right.
Doesn't mean like the pressure's all on you to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And also with the first relationship, again, I had a family member tell me that, oh, but that's your partner, like he wasn't raping you, or that's your partner, he hit you, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Like, it's never okay. And I feel like it comes to a number of things. It can be, you know, that old school mentality. You know, a lot of ethnic people of all different cultures and backgrounds, you know, is that old school mentality of how they were raised, what is right and wrong, and what's accepted, or what might have been accepted in their own country, is not accepted here in Australia or in America or wherever else. So, you know, you can't take something that you know of like 40 years ago. And like, you know, for example, because of my family, like in India, what you're taught in India growing up 40, 50 years ago, that it's okay to stay with someone that's going to abuse you or cheat on you or you know, do whatever is bad in a relationship, that you must stay. That does not happen in today's society.
That's right.
That does not mean that it's right.
Yeah.
And also in regards to religious viewpoints, I've had people come to me at a religious aspect, you know, basically saying to me that same thing, it's condoned, it's okay, that's your partner. What religion says beat your woman? What religion says go and cheat and have multiple partners? None. Tell me one religion that says that.
None.
I don't know. So for me, it's like, it's basically people, again, taking something that religion teaches you, or your own beliefs of religion, and misconstruing it and making it into whatever you want to,
That's right.
your own rules.
Yeah.
Every religion teaches you the basic principles. Treat others how you want to be treated. Treat others with love, kindness, and respect.
That's right.
Again, it doesn't say go and beat people,
That's right.
go and fornicate and this and that, or
Yeah.
have multiple partners.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, that's not nothing to do with religion or cultural differences. That's your own beliefs.
That's right.
Don't put that onto oh, my culture teaches me this, or my my religion teaches me this. No. That's what you believe. That's your own. That's your own thing. So I think it's really important to know that. And the other thing I wanted to address as well is one of the questions was, how can we teach our children, how to be in a good relationship. Okay, again, I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not Dr. Phil or whatever else. But again, I don't have children, but I feel like if I had a teenager right now, I would try and teach my teenager, obviously right and wrong. Again, basic principles: treat others with respect, how you want to be treated, treat them with love and kindness. But then again, you have things like social media and society that, I listen to rap and hip hop music, but at the same time, a lot of it teaches you to, cheat on your women. It's okay to hit your women, which I don't agree with. But I feel like no matter how much you try to teach your kids right and wrong, and then you as their parents, they trust and believe you, society itself, they need to go out in the world themselves and find out for themselves. If they choose to listen to music or watch movies that promote that, or listen to people in society that promote that it's okay, you can't do anything about that. You can't ram it down their brain. Do you know what I mean? Like, you tell them this is right and wrong, you raise them a certain way, but like I said, if they're watching movies or listening to music that promotes violence and promotes, rape or whatever else, as hard as it is, you have to, remind them and try to get them to go the other route. But there's no real answer of how you can teach them. I mean, like, you teach them, and like I said, it's up to them of how they wish to act in a relationship. Again, I feel like if parents are giving them, like, a loving home and teaching them how to treat people, yes, in most cases, it follows through in their life. But obviously, you get the other cases where it doesn't. They go their own route and they abuse women or whatever else. So
it's a good point that you're raising, because it's not even just I am a mum, so I'm thinking about my own story here as well. It's not just what you say to your kids, this is how we treat others. It's also what you expect from others, how you expect to be treated.
Correct.
You yourself. So if you are in a relationship where you are not respected, and you are not, if you're physically abused, verbally abused, emotionally, financially, where you have lost some of your self-control because someone else is controlling you, your children from baby age will see that and think that's normal. That's okay. So if you want your daughters and you want your sons to grow up respecting others, they have got to expect respect for themselves as well. So you can only do that by example. That doesn't come from your mouth. That's by example. If your partner is disrespectful to you, it's your responsibility. And in your position as a person who's suffered from domestic violence, it's not easy. Just like Natasha has said, you are controlled. Your thinking has been altered. You've been brainwashed. You're being put down, and it's very hard to then set a good example for your kids. So right at the beginning, before it becomes chaos, you have to think, how do I want my children to be treated by everybody else?
I agree, and I disagree.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
So I agree. Okay, the reason I disagree is because I be careful what I say, because obviously I'm talking about my family. So I wasn't really raised in the most positive environment growing up. My parents divorced when I was 8 years old, but life with them was violence. It was, my dad, again, may his soul rest in peace, he was someone that couldn't stay faithful to one woman. So he was cheating on my mom from before I was born, right? So the point is that growing up, the only times I saw my parents happy together was when we were on vacation overseas. Once we're back, it was constantly fighting, knives at each other's throats, constantly fighting. She spitting on each other, punching each other, throwing each other into different glass objects. So that was my life growing up. Okay, that's all I remember from my childhood. that's my parents. I won't say anything about them.
So did you think that was normal for couples to do that, and then maybe that influenced your behavior later when you were suffering in your own situation?
I knew obviously that it wasn't right. I knew, I mean, I was young. I mean, I was exposed to that, as I said, from a baby until I was 8 years old. So I knew that this isn't the right behavior. It's not how you treat people.
Yeah.
You know, and that back then I was like quite religious as a Catholic. So I was like, this is not right. This is wrong. And then I remember my mum said something that was really messed up. I was standing up for my dad one time when they had knives to each other, and she said to me, I don't know if she remembers saying this, but she said it to me, and it always sticks in my head. She goes, you'll meet someone who'll be exactly like your dad.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And when I was in that relationship, and my dad was not like my ex.
Yeah.
Let me put that there. My dad was not an abusive person like my ex.
Right.
Did my dad physically hurt people? Yes.
Yeah.
Verbally? Yes. But not to the extent that I was in, and not controlling like the way I was in. Nothing like what I endured. So when she said that to me, I'm just like, so the whole time in that 8-year relationship, that was constantly in my head. And that also helped, that also was a contribution of manipulating me to believe like, shit, this is as good as my life's gonna get. This is what I deserve.
Do you also think maybe, so just from carrying it forward from what Tracy's saying and what you're saying, because what we find in general is that if someone grows up in a broken home, right, or in a home where they're seeing certain behaviors being exemplified, you tend to go for the same thing in the early years of your relationships, because that's all you know. If you grow up with a dad that's not loving to your mom, you're most likely going to go for men who are emotionally unavailable. Not because you're making a conscious choice and you're saying this is what I want, but because unfortunately that's what's comfortable to you, that's what's familiar. And psychology pretty much also says that, you know, people who have similar traumas most likely will come together just because their traumas and they recreate. And as adults, we're constantly trying, as children into adults, we're constantly trying to recreate what we saw growing up and fix what was going on. So you might not even, not to say your dad was that bad, that's not what I'm trying to say, but you might not even see your dad that way because you still love your dad and you still have so much love for him, but maybe that was the experience of your mom. So maybe how you experience your partner was how your mom was experiencing your dad. The only difference is, you know how it is like when you're a child, even if my parents fight, there's still a level, I'm never going to experience their fights the same way that they do. So my judgment will always be covered by the fact that I love my mom and I love my dad. And I think that's the dangers of staying in a relationship where you've got children and you're getting abused, especially if it's physical or even if it's financial or even in a relationship that's loveless. A lot of women stay because of their children, but what you're not realizing is you're actually not protecting your children. You're putting them in a line of danger because now, when I meet someone who's like, you know, someone who's doing what both my parents are doing, I'm going to be comfortable with that because as much as I may know as a human being that it's not good, it's not normal, part of me, this is what's normal. This is what I grew up watching. This is what I had to, because we learn love from our parents. So if to you your parents is, you know, they pull knives, they do A, B, C, and D, your dad goes out and cheats, well, when I meet a guy, I'm going to expect the same thing because that's what you introduced to me as love, you know, and it's unfortunate that.
So Ruby, you're also touching on the topic that to raise children in a home where there is violence between the parents or even with the children, that is worse than if the mother takes the children or the victim of the domestic violence, because it could be a man or it could be a woman, but the one who is the victim is able to take the children and protect the children and be separate from the perpetrator, from the person who is putting them in harm. Any type of violence, the emotional, verbal, any type of, so it is better. I just really want to make that point. It's better for the people to be safe than to look as though you are being, you know, a good person by sticking with your partner or sticking with the perpetrator and staying in what your culture, your religion, your family, your friends expect from you. The most important thing is to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you know what, I don't have kids. Let me say this: I don't have kids. I've never been in a domestic violence situation, so I'm speaking from a person who's never experienced this. So don't take what I'm saying as what I'm saying you should do. This is just simply my opinion. My thing is this: a lot of women stay, even let's remove even just domestic violence, even with men that constantly cheat on them, or fathers who are not exactly available. A lot of women stay because as women, we've been raised to really stick to the idea of two is better than one. We've been raised to really stick to the idea of, in my culture, there's a saying that says "Mushamo kazi," and what it means is a wife is the home. So if a home breaks apart, it's because the wife was weak, not because. So it doesn't matter what the men does, but then if a home breaks apart, it's not because of the men. So how they feel as though, if the woman is strong, it doesn't matter what the man does. Doesn't matter if he cheats. Doesn't matter if he beats you up. Doesn't matter whatever he does. If the woman is strong, she will keep it together. And I think the danger of doing that is that we normalize so many behaviors that are not normal. Not only are you putting your children in the risk of doing the same thing that you did, but also mental health. And then when your kids have depression and are suicidal at 12 years old, at 18 years old, you're looking at them and just saying, oh, well, that's silly. You're being immature. It's not silly. It's because I've had to live with traumas that I can't talk about, because remember, in our cultures, if it's marriage, you don't talk about it. You can share whatever happens between anyone else, but if it's marriage, we don't talk about it. So now when kids are suicidal, we're all like, oh, it's just these young kids, they just don't know how to handle anything. No, your kids are depressed because they've had to live with 12 years or 18, 15, 16, 18 years of watching you be abused. I think as well the danger is this: when you're a child and you're watching your parents go through things, all you wish to do is to take your parents out of those situations. And if I can't help you as my mother, if I can't help you as my father, can you imagine how useless that's going to make me feel? And then having to grow up feeling useless. It's not nice. I think if you're in a situation like that and you're staying because of your kids, you're finding, because we're always all going to find excuses to remain in situations, and that's the truth, because we're human beings. If I'm getting cheated on, like I've said before, I was in a situation like that where I was getting cheated on by someone, and I kept on making excuses, right? Were those excuses valuable at that time? Yeah, of course. But in reality, I was lying to myself. I was and we do that. So whatever situation you're in where you're refusing to leave, if your reason is only your kids, it's because you're trying to use your kids as a way to lie to yourself and to stop yourself from doing what you know you need to do. And that's not your fault. It's just something that we do as human beings. Exactly, it's a coping mechanism. But it's dangerous. I would not. It's dangerous.
Wimby, you talked about you want to, from African background, you want everyone to think your marriage is perfect, your home is perfect. You don't want to talk to anyone about what's going on, because it's private. It's a cultural thing to be private about your marriage. If there is a problem and you don't have anyone, or you don't feel comfortable to talk to anyone in your community, you're worried about aunties will talk, that sort of thing. What do? Who can you talk to? How can you make changes, good choices for yourself with that sort of pressure and limitations, restrictions put on you by your culture? So what can you do?
Personally, I would say go to therapy. Of course, I know that even therapy is a whole other different issue for most people, but I would say go to therapy. If you're not comfortable talking to the people around you, there's always a paid person who can't go and talk about you. So if you're not comfortable talking to the ones that don't have to be, that you can't be protected by a contract, this person can't go. Can't go. By law, they can't go. So if you're going through something and you feel like, well, I can't tell people that know me, that's fine. That's perfectly okay. Go talk to someone that you know that if they dared to talk about your issue, you could be like, well, okay, I'm going to sue you. And they will never do it because they obviously know, and they're trained in that way anyway to not talk about those issues.
Then there's also...
Natasha, with all your speech from the beginning to the end, I don't want to ask you a question. Was it because you saw that your parent was having violence among them, that is why you started early stage of relationship and you couldn't inform them what you were going through?
For me, no, so that's, I was going to address that as well. So for me, it wasn't like, okay, so what I've seen growing up, so this is a norm, this is how relationships should be. For me, it's like, okay, my parents did the best that they could. Again, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to fault them. there's obviously things that, you know, as an adult, you see what your parents do, you're like, okay, I want to do that differently when time comes that I have children. But again, they did the best that they could. But they played a financial role in my life growing up. Yeah, they paid for my schooling. Yeah, they paid for whatever I wanted sometimes. But could they have been there more for me, as in like come to school events, you know, participate more, like have a more active role in my life? Yes, that's what I wanted. That's what I yearned for. I yearned to feel that sense of like, yeah, they love me, but I wanted to feel that I was loved. And there's many times as a kid I didn't feel that because they were fighting, or because it's like, Mom, like come watch me, you know, do this running carnival or whatever it is, or come to the choir practice I have, or come to this or that. And it was always like, we're busy. So you go to these things and you see other parents there every time. People say, where are your parents? Oh, they're working. Every time? Yes. Not once did my parents ever, I remember coming to any of my school things, and I'll come up with medals. I'm like, yeah, I came first in running, or I came first in this, or I came second in that. I was like, oh yeah, you know, that's cool, and that's about it. But you want to actually feel that. So that's why I go back to when I met my ex. Obviously, you know, as we started to get to know each other, I told him about this kind of stuff, and then he was kind of like, that's where I can get it.
Right.
So he played that role.
Yeah.
He made me feel loved.
Yeah.
He introduced me to his family, and I was like, wow, this is what a family experience feels like. And I felt that sense of belonging. I felt that love, and that's what I was looking for. And then he preyed upon that. So that's why everything he did, I made excuses. I'm like, you know what? Like, he really loves me. His family love me. Like, you know, like, it's just, he's got his faults. Everyone has their faults. So I made excuses. That was that aspect.
Yeah.
Why I didn't tell my parents is because, again, I never had that sense of relationship where I spoke to them about stuff. If I couldn't speak to you and say to you, like, hey, I need you to play a more active role in my life. I need you to come to at least 2 of my events.
Yeah.
Or see me at least get this award or come
Yeah.
to this performance.
Yeah.
Then, like, if I can't speak about that, how can I be like, I'm in a domestic violence relationship? Help me. I also just want to touch base too.
Yeah.
I won't address who it was, but I remember when I was selling the house, one family member said to me, oh, you just got engaged him. I spent so much money on the engagement. Now you want to sell the house. I'm like, what part of I would die in this house anytime do you not understand? What part of my life is at risk? Why is money becoming more important than my life? And when that happened, I basically was like, F it, I'm not speaking ever about my subject.
Yes.
And that was someone that was immediate family member said that to me.
When you're in that critical moment and
Correct.
someone puts offers no support or you know, just that's it, you shut down, you don't want to communicate with them
Correct.
anymore.
I was like, that's it.
This is obviously something that you're not going to get support from them.
Correct.
So
everything I did I mean, obviously, I'm faithful, I believe in God. God pulled me out. But like in person, like out of religion, like I got up because of me.
Yeah.
No parent helped me.
Yeah.
No family member helped me. No friend helped me.
Yeah.
I had to find that money. I had to work multiple jobs. I got myself out of that situation. You know, I didn't depend on my family for anything. And I've been that way since I was 13. I was like, whatever I wanted, I gotta do it. I hustled like that. So, you know, again, I don't fault my parents. Yes, I learned from my experience that what I want to do differently when I have children. I would never ever want to see any of my kids go through what I went through, ever. But I got out because of me.
Yeah.
So I don't owe anyone anything. Anyone. You know, and it was hard. And to think, and when I think at home sometimes I think about what I went through, it breaks my heart. I wish I could have told that girl, that Natasha, so many things. Made her, you know, love who she was and like just feel how I feel now, you know? So
So this goes to parents, both incoming and outgoing parents. Our children need our love. No matter what we are going through, being violent or what, they are still children. Even if the child grow up to 25, 30 years old, she still need your help. No matter what, just a token of flower to show the love that you have for that child. Not money. No money, but just stand by the child. No matter what, the child still need you. Parents, we drive our children into domestic violence. The state that they don't want to go in, we drive them into it. So parents, please, our children need us. The other day, I took a picture with my child and I said, what? This child, I look at it and I say, and I feel that she still need me. I look at her and say, no matter how grown she is, she still need me by her side. So
That's right.
please, parents, no matter what, our children still need us. Let's show that love. Even if that child grow and marry, still show that love. For her going through the window through 3 times, calling you on phone, you didn't say anything. The child looked down that, oh, I don't have a parent. Natasha, sorry for going through that.
If
We
you're,
are there for you.
thank you. If you're a parent, or even if you're a sister, brother, friends, neighbor, if you know something is happening, or you suspect something is happening, what do you think that that person can do to support the victim? It doesn't need to be like to tell one get out, just get out, just get out. Because that doesn't need to do anything.
That does
What do
nothing.
you recommend?
Well, like I said, again, I don't fault my friends. A few friends I had spoken, I'm like, just get out, just like, you know, they didn't know. They weren't in the situation, so they didn't know how to go about it. Do I have anything against them? No. And I still talk to those friends on a daily basis. But if I had a friend that was going through that situation, I would obviously encourage her to speak to someone. And it wouldn't be family, it wouldn't be friends. It would be speaking to someone in the community, like an outreach program,
Yes.
so, like, you know, like a shelter, somewhere to get advice. That person doesn't know you from a grain of salt. So you're speaking to someone confidentially. Because therapy is good. I never did therapy. I practice other methods. I did therapy, but not everyone has money to go to therapy. There's not always free therapists, and that's also why the women that contact me on Instagram, they're from like Nigeria, Kenya, like Asia, Arab countries I've never heard of, found me, and I don't charge anyone. I don't want to get paid for the service. I want to help people, so they reach out to me, and they have that kind of like therapist support without paying for it. They're speaking to someone that they know has definitely been through what they're going through, and truly understands. Because therapists have a degree, blah blah blah, but do you really know that therapists truly understand? Yeah, they might know, you know, how the mind works, this, that, whatever else they're trained and professed in, but going through an actual trauma itself is different to just reading a book and knowing how to address it.
So
Do you know what I mean?
how do people contact you, Natasha? if they want?
Mostly, people contact me via all methods, like Instagram, Facebook, my website, WhatsApp, iMessage, email, everything. But mostly Instagram, because they see the things that I've gone through, what I advocate for, and they're like, wow, like, let me send her that message. And some of them are so surprised to get a response. I'm like, I'm here for that. If I can't respond to you right now, it's a valid reason. I'm busy or I'm doing something. But I respond all times of the day, at night, 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning. And also keep in mind, some of these women that contact me on Instagram, they can't talk to anyone else. They can't even have a phone. So there's women that I'm helping at the moment that have to actually download Instagram each day, talk to me, and then uninstall the app. Uninstall the app. I remember there was times when I had my phone and I tried to speak to friends, I would have to like put the number as a different person's name. If I had any guy's number on my phone, whether they were gay or straight, it was a big no-no. Like one of my closest friends, named Jose, he's gay, and it was like, oh, are you cheating on me with him? And it's like, so any gay guy friend that I had, their name had to be under a female's name on my phone. And I think I remember I had Facebook back then. It was 2009, and I wasn't allowed to have Facebook. I wasn't doing anything. I had my ex's family on it. I had to download that app each day and uninstall it because he would check my phone. So if someone's trying to find help, there's that method as well. Like people have to, like, some women say to me, like, don't contact me, I'll contact you. Even if you want to check up on me, don't check up on me. I'll contact you. So going through that, I'm like, cool, I accept that. But if I don't hear from a certain person for a period of time, it makes you worry like crazy. Because you're like, are they still alive?
Yes, check.
But I can't do anything. But I'll try and find other ways to find them on social media to check. But it's just like, again, not everyone can pay for a therapist, and they'd rather speak to someone that's actually been through a situation and get help from there.
We're actually going to have to round it up now. I just want to touch on what Natasha's just said in being able to pay for a therapist. At the Midland Women's Health Care Place, they do have, you're able to self-refer. You just call them, not a program, and then you can just go and they'll have someone there confidentially. You can talk to somebody. Okay, so that's really important. They're closest to us. All of these numbers that are on the board, they're all confidential. They will not talk to anyone in your community. They're just there to listen to you, and if you want advice, they can refer you to some other numbers. We do have places in in Ellenbrook that is just like a safe house for women to go and stay with their children. Obviously that's not publicised, it's not advertised. If you want and you urgently need some emergency care, you can call some of these numbers and they will direct you and get them to contact you, and you will have somewhere to go. If you're in an emergency, straight away call the police. They are 100% supporting women that need to get out of violent situations.
Yeah.
100%. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
We just have one question here in the comments for you, Rombi. CM Milan asked, what is that African said again? May she repeat it, please? A woman is the home. Can she translate it?
Yeah, so in Shona, which is what my language is, it says Mosha Mokazi. And direct translation into English is a woman is the home. So what they're trying to say, or what they say when they say that, is that it doesn't matter what the man does, the woman is the one that holds, so the woman is the glue of the home.
Yeah.
But that's not fair, because like you were saying, I'm sorry, marriage is a two-way street.
Correct.
They're two people coming together to build a life together.
Yeah.
So if you are doing everything, you know how so in my head, this is how like when I left my situation, this is how I thought about it. Imagine trying to build a house with someone, right? You come in, you put 10 bricks. They come in, they take off the bricks. You come in tomorrow, you put 10 bricks. They come in, they take off the bricks. You're not building anything.
Correct.
You're not building anything. So it makes no sense to hold on to somebody who does not want to hold on.
Yeah.
If a man truly loves you, or if you're in a healthy marriage, two people should be both working to build that home.
Relationship in general.
Relationship in general.
Whether it's a new relationship, whether you're being, old, whatever, however long the relationship is, you both have to work together to make it work. It's not one person. You can't add that pressure to one person. And if one person is only doing that work, you need to leave. But it's not going
Doesn't even
anywhere.
have to be a romantic relationship.
It doesn't even have to
parent
be
and a
friendship.
child, a friend
Exactly.
and friend.
Any healthy friendship, really, or a healthy relationship is a two-way street.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to tell women that we are the ones that have to work extra hard. Why am I working extra hard?
Yeah.
And the worst thing is, women don't ask men to marry them. It makes no sense. You can't ask me to marry me so I can come and do the work while you're sitting. You're going to cheat. You're beating me up. You're beating our children up. It makes no sense.
I was going to say one
Makes
thing
no
quickly
sense.
as well when it comes to that, because it happened to me. In that same sense, men of various cultures or age or whatever it is, they can also make a woman feel that way, that they're the ones that has all that pressure on them. And as a woman that's being abused, don't think that no matter how much you cook and clean and do everything for this man, you could cook in the best meals of whatever, or wash his clothes, fold it, clean the house all the time, do whatever he wants, wait hand and foot on him, that he's going to stay and he's going to stop what he's doing. That's not going to change, because some women have that mentality, and I had that mentality as well. I was like, all right, like he is like the best girlfriend in the world. Like I do what he says, I cook him all day. When he wants something, I clean the house, whatever he wants, I do it. But he still treated me the way he did. So it's like that's not going to keep someone. So if anyone is going through a situation, like try to wake up and look at things now after watching this video from a different aspect, and sit back and be like, what should I put up with and what shouldn't I put up with? What is right and wrong? And could go on forever. So I'll just shut up.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you for joining in.
You've got our websites. You've got Natashas' website, Roombi, Madzengli, so there's that as well. The Swan Library, if you ever need to get in touch with any of us, we're here. So thank you for joining us today.
Yay.
Thank you. Bye.